Hey there, my friend. This is Paul Hutchings coming to you live from the Hyatt House in Salt Lake City, Utah. Super excited today to be here with my good friend and business partner and mentor and someone that I look up to, Mr. Mike Hobbs.
Hey! Cool.
So, Mike and I are down here doing some mindset training, really.
Yep,
Isn't it? I mean, they call it a different name, the course we're going through, but it's pretty much mindset training. And we've helped each other go through some pretty powerful shifts here this weekend. And what we wanted to do is take just a few minutes and share some value with you. Mike, just in case you don't know, Mike, if you don't mind, maybe just I'll start out with a disclaimer because it's really cool to be able to talk to someone who's been able to earn such a tremendous amount of money in the home business profession, and I'll let him share with you some details on that. But share a disclaimer: the stories and the incomes that we'll share in this video and the strategies. No guarantees of income. The only thing we can do is share with you what's been done, and also share with you that it's possible, and share with do the best we can to teach you how to do it. But we're not guaranteeing anything, and you might want to see the average earnings disclaimer down at the bottom of this page. So now that boring part's out of the way, Mike, tell us a little bit about the success that you've had in the home business profession.
Okay, cool. And sometimes when people talk about their successes, they don't understand where it came from. So I'm actually going to do two parts here. I'm going to tell you, the success I've had, which in fact has been better than I've ever had in my entire life. This year alone, we cleared about almost close to $300,000 in this year personal income. I have business partners that we've had $100,000 months in the past.
And that's months plural.
Plural.
Right?
Plural,
so
yeah.
more than once. Their mastermind partnership has produced over $100,000 monthly income.
Yeah. In fact,
plural.
it's been the last 3 months in a row. That we've done over $100,000. Last year was my best year ever before this year. So every year is continuing to grow. But here's the deal. Like I said, most people they look at people that make a lot of money. They look at people like me and they're like, oh. They do it. I know why they do. They're making it because they're good at speaking, or they're good at, they're just good at it, or they naturally have it, right? Well, bottom line is I have always been, until now, really not a social person. People get to know me in person and they don't really think I care. It's kind of funny. I've never been a talkative person. I've never been the eye of the crowd or whatever. So I've always been a shy kind of guy. People would look at me like that. But it's interesting because my first few years in this industry, I made no money. I mean, I made some money, but I spent more money than I made dramatically. I mean, literally the first year, I think we got in about $100,000 in debt.
Wow.
$100,000 in debt, and we also had a house payment on top of that. So if you really look at that, it's like $300,000.
Wow.
$300,000 in debt.
In the hole.
Yeah, in the hole. I remember one time I went to the grocery store, swiped my credit card, and they said, "Oh, it's declined. Do you have another card?" I'm like, "Oh, sorry. Give them another card. No money on it." Literally declined twice at the grocery line. I couldn't afford groceries for my family.
And sometimes people think that these stories are made up, right? But you look that's a 100% true story.
Yeah.
Father, husband goes to the grocery store, pulls out his credit card, got the groceries ready, declined. And
in fact, I was so embarrassed about this because we had to go to my church and request a food order. And just the feeling of that was I was so down on myself when the president came over, and the Relief Society president in our church came over to give us this free food because we couldn't afford groceries. I had to leave. I literally had to leave the house. I couldn't be there. So it was a depressing time in my life. But we had a desire, we really wanted to do something better. I didn't want to be at a job. I didn't want to not have freedom. I didn't want to have to send my wife to work when we have kids, because that's one of the things that I really wanted deep inside, is not have any, child care. We wanted my wife to be able to stay home, and I had to provide, and I was down on myself when I was in that situation. But luckily, I plugged into masterminds like Paul's, and we'll get into that here in a minute. And we had our best year in 2012. We had a 6-figure year. We tripled that this year. And our last 3 months, like I said, we're rocking it out. So.
That's fantastic. And I'm partly laughing because we've got people coming over here, in the hotel, and going, "What are those guys doing? He's talking about making $100,000 a month." That's awesome, man. It's awesome. And one of the things that I love about what Mike's just shared is, Mike mentioned that he was not in the past like a totally outgoing person, life of the party, socialite, and sometimes in the home business profession, we think that you have to be that type of person to have success. And it's funny that you mentioned that, Mike, because I'm actually kind of similar to that. Like, growing up, I would rather stay home on a Friday night with a book than go out, and socialize with people. So, and that kind of held me back in the beginning of my home business career, because I thought, how am I going to be successful when I have a hard time, talking to people, right?
Exactly.
But these things can be overcome, and obviously you're living proof. So. Congratulations on your success, man. It really excites me. It's a big inspiration, inspires me, and I know that it inspires a lot of people, because one of the things that Mike and I work really hard to do is basically just share a message of, if we can do it, so can you.
Yeah. Anyone really can do this. It doesn't matter what background. It doesn't matter.
It's just a question of, will you?
Will you? Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Because it's not, sometimes it's not always easy all the time. Right?
It definitely wasn't easy.
I know as like marketers, one of the lessons that we learn in some of the marketing education we go through is people want to you want to let people know that it's easy, and that's one of the things that causes people to join. Right? So sometimes there's these mixed messages, and no, I don't think it's a lie. Like, I think back to one of my first mentors in network marketing, and he said, what he said is, he says, this is a simple business, it's not an easy business. So it's simple, meaning there's some steps, right? Like in internet marketing, we create content, capture leads, and convert sales.
Yep.
I mean, how much more simple could that be?
I know, it's really
3
simple,
steps, right? But inside those 3 steps, there are some technical things you're going to have to learn. There are some psychological things you're going to have to learn. There are some mistakes that you're going to make, and you're going to, you're going to wonder, should I get back up and keep... I mean, were there times on your journey that you felt like quitting?
Oh, yes. I mean, I remember I was generating 30 to 50 leads a day from YouTube, and I was just rocking it. We were making sales every day from these YouTube videos, and all of a sudden, my YouTube account, one day I tried to log in and watch one of my videos. Your account has been suspended. Total income gone. I remember I had MySpace, 20 leads coming in every day from MySpace. And one day I actually got a phone call from the owner, not the owners, but the managers of MySpace. They called me. They're like, hello? And they're like, this is the managers of Facebook, or no, MySpace or something. And they're like, and we shut all of your accounts down, never create accounts again. And I was like, what? And I went and looked, and they were gone. All my leads were gone. So I've lost blogs.
So did you quit and never create an account again?
No, I didn't. I created another account.
How long did it take you to get another account up?
That day. That day. So, I persevered through a lot of mistakes and a lot of problems. One last thing is I spent $8,000 on banners and made 5, and I looked at that as a negative because I was in the negative, right? Mm-hmm. But in reality, all these things were successes. They all propelled me to where I am now. So don't look at them as negative.
It's funny, Mike and I were having a conversation, I think it was yesterday, and I was telling him how I invested $5,000 one time into some advertising, and I didn't feel that it worked. And And he didn't even tell me the $8,000 story. So he's probably thinking $5,000, that's nothing. You know?
Yeah.
But these are some of the reasons why it might not always be easy all the time to be free from home, because we have challenges. And as an entrepreneur, one of the things that we have to learn how to do is fight on in the face of adversity, get knocked down, stand up, and continue on. And it seems that we're rewarded when we're able to do that with $100,000 months, right?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So I did want to go into Mike's story a little bit. One, because I think it's inspirational. It inspires me. Whenever I see someone who has overcome personal challenges, like, you know, maybe being a little introverted and wondering, can I be successful in the home business profession? Mike conquered that, right? He's successful in it. I love seeing stories like that, and I love seeing stories where people didn't have a lot. You know, we could go into Mike's background. I know a little bit about you know, him growing up, and I don't know that you don't always talk about it, just like I don't always talk about my background, but both Mike and I were similar in that when we were young, we didn't have what you would call the ideal family situation, right? Both of us. And in fact, if you were to look at our lives, our childhoods, you know, you might have a tendency to say, those guys don't have a chance, right? Because we didn't grow up with rich parents. We didn't grow up with people teaching us power, you know, nothing. I mean, I had a great mother, but she didn't know everything that, you know, entrepreneurs know, and therefore she wasn't able to teach me some of that stuff. She taught me some other great lessons, but point being, we came from situations where the odds were stacked against us, so to speak. And I love seeing stories where you're able to overcome that, and Mike is a perfect example of that. But I also wanted to get into a story a little bit to share some credibility, because I want to use this video and this interview to get some real value out for me and for you who's watching this video. And I have some specific questions that I want to ask Mike, but just in case you didn't know who he was, I wanted you to know that this guy is a guy who's extremely qualified to be giving us advice on how to grow our home-based business, right? This is not, you know, we're not sitting in our you know, our mother's basement,
broke uncle, you know,
right? Saying, "Hey, we're gonna teach you how to be rich on the internet." Johnny, get up here! You know, it's not quite like that, right? It's a real credible person who's done some great things. So, there are actually three main questions that I wanted to ask Mike in this interview. And the first question, Mike, is as we of students of the book Think and Grow Rich know, one of the key pillars of having success in business is what's called the mastermind principle. And one of the things that I've noticed Mike has done really well, maybe even better than anyone I've ever seen in the home business profession, is he's organized a mastermind alliance, not just an alliance of, hey, let me get together with a few people and bounce some ideas off of each other, but they've actually formed a business partnership that's went on to generate $100,000 plus months.
Yep.
That's pretty significant.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, maybe could you tell us a little bit about, before you formed that alliance, how the alliance was formed, and then maybe what's some of the good things that have happened since then.
Okay. And one thing about most people's partnerships, have you noticed that they kind of break up? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen that. Most people that do a business partnership, they usually break up. Well, here's what happened to us, and this is why I read the book Think and Grow Rich, you know, with Paul, and I really understand it more now about the mastermind, but I didn't actually know about the mastermind principle when we formed our alliance. I was literally doing my own daily masterminds. I had a mastermind with my team, okay, so I was doing this mastermind, but I was doing a lot of work on my own. Okay, I was doing videos, I was trying to create systems, I was trying to do traffic, I was trying to do all these different things and support a team and be successful and be a husband for my wife and a father for my kids and you know, in my church callings and things of that nature. So I was trying to juggle all these things, and it was taking a lot of my time. I was literally spending 12-hour days working. You know, 12-plus-hour days working. So I met someone at a live event, and his name is Adam Whiting. And I realized that, man, this is a cool guy. You know, we really got along right from the get-go. And
how did you guys meet? Because like understanding you said in the past you're not a very social guy. Were you like, I'm so glad you're here?
No, actually it was interesting. I got to this event on accident. Like, not on accident. I wasn't supposed to be there. I actually didn't buy a ticket to go to this event. Someone sent an email out saying, hey, I'm giving you a free ticket, and it was an Adam Holland was the person. So I got a free ticket from Adam Holland, and I was sharing a room with Adam. Now, I went down to this event, and one of Adam's friends or business partners was Adam Whiting. So we got introduced. I mean, because I'm not, like I said, I'm not that social, or wasn't. And he introduced me to Adam Whiting, and Adam Whiting and I just started talking, but it wasn't really anything big. And then Mark Hoverson, there was a guy there named Mark Hoverson. He saw me there, and he's like, wow, I didn't know you were coming. You know, and he asked me to teach on social media because I was actually having some success back then. And he's like, hey, will you do a breakout and teach social media? So I was like, sure, you know. So I did this little breakout. I was teaching social media, and Adam saw me, and he says like, wow, I wanna be working with that guy because he's, you know, teaching some awesome stuff. So later on, he started working with me, joined me in my business, and then
So you sponsored him?
Yeah, I sponsored him in my business. And then we started working together back and forth. He would ask me questions, and they weren't annoying questions. It was like, you know, we started really working together, and we found that we really worked together well. So we started forming, and he did graphics and sales videos really, really well, and I did training. So we decided to go, okay, let's take your skills, and let's take my skills, and let's combine them. And we formed a mastermind. So now it took the burden of sales videos off of my shoulders, took the burden of graphics for my websites off of myself, and now I could just focus on training, and we kind of did things together. Then we brought on some other partners, you know, one guy that does traffic specifically. So Ben Zumunya, he got introduced to us, and basically he handled all the traffic. So we didn't have to buy traffic anymore. And then Matt Connor, he handled the financial side of it. So I knew Matt from a previous, I actually sponsored Matt in a company too. And then he started handling the finances about everything. So we had a financial guy, we have a system guy, we have a traffic guy, and a training. And we formed that alliance, and we meet with each other every day. Like every day we talk to each other at least once a day, and we hold each other accountable on what we should be doing that day. And it's not like a job, it's like, what can we do to work to move forward? So
that's awesome.
Very awesome.
A lot of times people will ask me, you know, how do you form a mastermind? Right? And from what I've just heard you say, you go out and sponsor a bunch of people, and you work with the people that are sticking their heads up. That's how you guys formed. I had no idea that you actually sponsored.
Yeah, we met at an event, and then I sponsored this person into my business. Two of them, Matt and Adam, were both in my business, and then we all started, you know, masterminding and forming this alliance. And Ben was introduced to us through Matt. So
that's awesome. Yeah. And one of the things I noticed Mike say is that they had skills that were different, but complemented the mission of what they were wanting to do.
Yeah. So now my job as a team, in the mastermind, is training. So keeping the team, basically I'm the team training, team masterminds, and getting together, and just keeping everybody together and keeping that support level, because not a lot of people have that. And I honestly, to tell you the truth, I honestly do not think I would have that if I didn't have a mastermind, because there's no way I can spend an hour a day every day on a webinar, plus I'll do all the team training, keep all these functions together by myself, and do the systems and do all these different things. You have to have some kind of alliance or some type of mastermind, hold each other accountable to get burdens off your shoulders. I could do it, but I would sacrifice family. I'd sacrifice some of the things that are important to me.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
And that's one of the key distinctions I just heard you mention is, you know, there's a difference between selling stuff on the internet and building a team. Yeah. Right? And it seems like with what we're doing, we have a vision of building a legacy, something that's going to be around for a long time.
Yep.
And that's different than just selling stuff.
It is,
right?
yeah. You got to keep the team. You got to have a culture. Some people want to be a part of something, and I've actually found that there's people that have followed me for years that haven't made money, but they're still in the team. They're still in the system. They're still plugging away. And I've actually had some of those stories. They finally started making money recently, because they stuck with it. There's literally one person that stuck with me for 2 years that finally made their first couple sales.
Wow.
Just sticking with it and staying a part of the mastermind. But if I didn't have that culture, if I didn't build it, if I just thought, oh, I'm just going to sell something, do you think that person would have ever stuck with me for 2 years?
Sell something to him one day, and then next month, let me sell you this thing, and then next week this thing, that. He would have been gone long ago.
Yep.
Yeah, that's powerful. So before the mastermind, if you don't mind, give us an idea income-wise, like before the formation of your key mastermind, what was your income like then and versus the high points since then?
Okay. Well, I was up and down, to be honest with you. I was making $1,000 a month some months, and I made up to $7,000 in a month. But my income was like 1 to 7, and it just kept going up and down, up and down. And we finally formed this partnership, and actually this partnership formed, I believe, in 2012.
Oh,
right
wow.
after I came back from Iraq. So 2011, it was Adam Whiting and myself, and then 2012 we formed the 4 partnership. 2011, I barely made any money. I remember we did our taxes at the end of the year, and I literally I think it was like $5,000 is what we made after expenses.
Oh my gosh.
So
for the whole year?
Yeah.
In 2011.
Yeah.
So get this, 2011.
After expenses.
14. Are we in 14 yet? Or are we
12, 13.
We're in 13. Okay. So the end of 2011, 5,000 the whole year. 2012, 2013, 2 years later, right?
Yeah. So 2012 was our first 6-figure year. And then 2013, is not done yet, but over 300,000 personal income. But like I said, the last 3 months have just been amazing for our partnership.
100,000 plus months, last 3 months in a row. That is incredible. So cool. So obviously the mastermind principle is a really important key, and it's one of the keys, right? There's others, right?
Yeah.
And we study this stuff. We'll get into a little bit more of that on the other principles that are involved. But one of the other questions I wanted to ask Mike, in the company that we work in, and we're keeping this video generic because we want to serve everyone, whatever company you're promoting. We want to use this video to serve you. One of the things that our leaders teach us to do is to focus on sponsoring 2 customers a day. And that may sound a little crazy if you haven't heard the concept before. You're like, what? But it kind of comes from a story where one of our leaders, his name's Dave, he met a guy named Tom, and Tom was making a ton of money and he wasn't working very much. And Dave was like, how are you doing what you're doing? And he's like, oh, I just sponsor 2 people a day. And then I teach my team to do the same thing by sending them some videos that teach them how to do it. And Dave was like, you're sponsoring 2 people a day. I think at the time he was sponsoring like 2 people a month or something. and he was working a lot to do that. And he's like, you must work all the time. Man, you must never sleep. And he's like, no. He's like, I only work like a couple hours a day, right? Because he had systems set up. Yeah. So one of the things that we're taught to do in our company is to focus on getting 2 signups a day. We're taught, and I think the formula is proven out, that when you do that consistently for 60, 90-day period of time, you can't help but make a significant amount of income. As a matter of fact, our leader, Dave, did this exact thing in a company where he was earning a fraction of the commissions, and we're talking a fraction, and in 90 days he had a $30,000 plus monthly income.
Wow.
And so he's a big believer in 2 a day. So we have someone right here, Mr. Mike Hobbs, who has been getting not just 2 a day, he's been getting 2 a day for a long time, but he's actually like far surpassed 2 a day. And like, what's your highest number in a day of new customers?
We had a 25 day.
Oh, jeez.
25 in one day. But when we're really pushing marketing and we're really going heavy, it's like 10 usually.
10 a day.
Yeah.
That's amazing. 10 new customers in their business, in their home business a day.
Yeah.
Fascinating,
Yeah.
right? It's something that you'd think there's no way it's possible, and here they're demonstrating that it's possible.
Yeah.
So one of the things I wanted to do in this video is I wanted to ask you, Mike, do you remember when you went from not getting 2 a day to first getting 2 a day, and what did you do to get there?
Well, the first thing is I had to believe it was possible, because I went to an event and we were sponsoring maybe 2 a week, which is still decent for the home business industry, two a week. And then we heard Dave, like you were saying, say get 2 a day, and we're like, 2 a day? Okay. So then we just felt that we can do it. So then all of a sudden what I decided to do was I put down a daily routine. Okay, so my daily routine, now here's the cool thing, it doesn't matter what the daily routine is, as long as you understand the principles, okay? My daily routine involved list building, it involved mindset, and it involved content, creating content every single day. And so I did a video. You can do content in any way or form that you want to do, but I focused on building my list. Okay, some of the things that I did is I did Facebook chatting, we did some paid marketing through Jesse and a couple other paid sources we were doing, and I did videos every day on Facebook, and I put them on Facebook, put them on my blog. But I had this routine down, and it was consistent action, and I didn't get 2 a day right away. You know, it took about 2 months of doing a daily video. For about 2 months, I emailed my video to my list every day, and then I did list building every day, and I got on a mindset call every single day that we'll probably talk about as well. And I kid you not, 2 months later, we started consistently getting 2 a day, 2 a day, 2 a day. And I was like, well, we have 4 partners. We can't be held to 2 a day. We got to get 8 a day. Because there's 4 of us in our mastermind. So then we really just stepped it up. I just kept going, consistent, and then we started doing 8 a day. And now we've sponsored, I think it's close to 1,700 people in just the last... Personally. In just
We're not talking about like your whole downline, your whole organization. We're talking personally.
Personally sponsored, about 1,700.
Just in case you didn't hear that, that's 1,700 personally sponsored.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
No, that's not a typo. No, that's not a like glitch in the video.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Adam, because we have a couple accounts because we started at different times, he has 300 on his account. So if you really add this up, that's like 2,000 sponsored between our mastermind. And I think we formed this mastermind the mid 2000, or about 4 months into 2012. So just a little over a year and a half.
That's amazing. So daily video, consistency, and you said you did mindset every day as well.
Yeah.
And you also said you did a video every day and you emailed your list.
Yes.
Can you talk about that for a moment? Because this is one of the things that, you know, if you're watching this video now, odds are you're on either my list or maybe Mike's sending this out, I don't know. But if I sent this to you, one of the things you're noticing is that for the last week and a half, every day I've been shooting a video and sending it out to you. And you might be wondering, like, why the sudden change? Because I didn't used to do this. Well, Mike Hobbs is a change. He inspired me to start doing this, and I'm already seeing some power in it just from the short time. But can you talk about why that's important?
Oh, it's majorly important. I have people that buy cold traffic. You know, there's resources out there you can buy cold traffic, and what I've found is a lot of people will buy this traffic and have no results. So then they have no leverage because they have to go figure out how to generate leads on their own that converts, and then those don't convert either. So then they figure out how to generate leads, and then those don't convert either. But what I found is by delivering value to your list every day, you get people looking at your stuff every single day. So you're looking at Paul's videos every day. You start getting into it. And then you start missing the videos if they don't do it. So people get used to that, and then they want to buy what you're selling. They want to be on your team. They get to know you. They get to like you, trust you, and they start buying from you. And it's a good thing because you're helping them, and then you're teaching them to do the same thing. But ever since I started doing the daily video and emailing my list, putting it on my social media, getting it out there every day, I can buy the crappiest traffic in the world and I still get conversions from it. Like, it's amazing. Like, literally, a lot of those signups we had came from cold traffic that have no idea who I am. But how do I get them to know who I am? Send a daily video, right?
Right.
So how do you warm up cold traffic? They get to know you.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a phenomenon that I can't really explain.
Well, it's you know, old school, you know, in traditional business, they say people do business with people they know, like, and trust. Mm-hmm. So it's the same with the internet, right? And the way people get to know, like, and trust you, what better way could there be than be like, hey, you like sticking your face in front of them every day, you know? Okay, so one question on the daily video length. Have you tested, like, you know, shorter videos, longer videos? What's a good rule of thumb?
Well, one of the things that have worked dramatically well for me recently is I started to pay attention to minutes, like 1 minute to 3 minutes has been kind of the magical number. You know, you can do longer videos. When someone gets to know you, they'll watch 20-minute, 30-minute videos from you. Mm-hmm. But if you really want to start getting some traction and some daily, people coming back to it daily, because people are busy. They're ADD nowadays. Yeah. It's an ADD society. In fact, I just shot a 2-minute video upstairs right before I came down here, and I posted it to Facebook in a couple minutes. The shorter it is, the faster it uploads everything. So you can just do these short little 1 to 3 minute videos, and you're gonna get way more response. Because just think about it. When you see a video that's 1 minute, are you more likely to watch it, or 3 minutes, 2 minutes?
Yeah, it's kind of like, you know, the fast food society.
Yeah,
you know, like, you want to get in, get your food, get out, you know?
Yeah. And as long as you're delivering value and you have some kind of call to action in the video, it's just as effective. And in fact, one tip on this, if you have a longer video, you can break it up into parts. So let's say you have like a training video, you could be like, okay, come back at the very end, come back tomorrow for part 2.
There you
come
go.
Back tomorrow for part 3. Now you've got people coming back to your video purposely.
The other thing about that, all right, so speaking of temporary setbacks, we've actually had some during this interview. We ran out of memory, then we ran out of cards, and anyway, we're back. So we were talking about daily videos, and you said keep it between 1 to 3 minutes, is that what you said?
Yep, 3 minutes.
3 minutes max, okay, perfect. One other question I had for you on that is, what about content? Like, do you always want to train marketing, skills, like what content?
Well,
do you have some freedom there?
Yeah, I think there's freedom. I mean, a lot of times you want to figure out your target market, first of all. So if you want to target network marketing industry, then you want to talk about things like money and talk about how to make more money or how to get more leads or how to generate more traffic, things that network marketers want. If you're in a different industry, then you're going to want to target what do they want. So a good question is, what do they want? And if you can do content based on that, they're gonna love your stuff. They're gonna follow you, and they're gonna keep on coming back and watching your videos. I do a lot of personal development because my target market, you know, the home-based business industry type people or network marketing industry, they need personal development, and they like listening to personal development, motivational type stuff. So that's the kind of videos that I mainly do.
Awesome, awesome, very good. So one other question I had for you is on the 2 a day. You told us what you did in the beginning, which was consistent daily video mindset. Would you do anything different? Like, let's say there's someone watching this video right now who says, man, that 2 a day thing sounds like a great idea, and I want to get to 30K, you know, a month income, or 5K, you know, I don't know what your goal is, but 2 a day will get you pretty much wherever you want to be, right? So it's a good number to shoot for. So what advice would you have for someone who says, I'm not doing it now, but I want to do it quickly? Would it be any different than what you did, or? Well,
I would definitely focus on list building, you know, really understanding that you do need to have a list. Otherwise, the content that you create, the videos that you create, the blog posts that you create are kind of just wasteful. If no one sees them, then it's kind of just like, what's the point? You know what I mean? So really focus on list building, and before even list building, you want to get in the right frame of mind, because I've found that some people doing their videos, if they're desperate or they're not in the right frame of mind, it's going to come across in your video, and people are going to be like, man, I don't want to join that person. Yeah. You know, it can actually backfire. Your content can backfire. They will not know, like, and trust you. They will not like you. you know, if you're not in the right frame of mind. So you want to definitely do a lot of mindset. So I would focus on, you know, really working on your mind. I would focus on list generation and then providing valuable content. I do the same thing, which is interesting.
Yeah, that is
I would
interesting.
Just continue to do the same thing that I've done to create success. And the reason I would recommend that is because it has worked for me.
And it still works.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It still works.
Awesome. It's interesting, when you were talking about being in the right frame of mind, I thought of a lady that I spoke to the other day, and she was like, I just need to make money fast because we're about to, you know, go into bankruptcy and, you know, lose our house. And it's like, man, my heart goes out to someone like that. But oftentimes the home business industry is not a quick fix, right? I mean, it can be.
Yeah.
But usually
it's not a lotto.
Right, exactly. It's not a lotto. So good stuff. So we've covered mastermind, we've covered get to a day. The last question I wanted to ask Mike is one of the things that, you know, I appreciate and that I've noticed is you've been really big on mindset. And you know, for those of you who don't know, we host a daily mindset call Monday through Friday. That's non-company specific. We've been doing it now for over 3 years, every single day. Kind of blows me away when I think about that. But it's the sole purpose of that call is to help anyone who wants to learn to develop the mindset of an entrepreneur. And I'm not going to go into my story, but I failed for many years, and I discovered that when I fixed my mindset, or when I started to fix it, when I started to strengthen it, I started to get the results that I wanted to get in my life. And I realized that if I could help my team, and then it turned into people who are not on my team, but if we could just help each other and come together with that purpose, that we might be able to do a lot of good in the world. And Mike's been very consistent getting on the call and also promoting it. And I'm just curious, why?
Why?
Yeah, why?
Well, like, it comes back to what I've been doing. You know, one of them was mindset, right? That I actually call it a prosperity commitment. You know, I truly believe if you don't work on your mindset, you're not going to be in the best vibration. I almost look at mindset like, you know, it's kind of weird to put it this way, but you know, like steroids almost. You know? Because if you think about it, it's like, you know, you could be working out, but if you shoot yourself up with steroids, you're going to be like super huge, right? Now, it's a negative thing, but in reality, it does. It's almost like, you know, really just magnifying everything you do. So when you start building a list, I actually had a guy on my team, he wasn't having success for 3 months, he was doing the same thing, and then he wrote himself a check for $10,000, and he dated it November 20th, and he was like, all right, I'm gonna make $10,000 by November 20th, I'm gonna do whatever it takes. And he didn't do anything different as far as marketing, but then all of a sudden, he wasn't getting it, and then November 18th, he got his first 2 sales. And then he said to me, he was like, man, it wasn't $10,000, but it felt like $10,000. And then just that vibration he was in at that point, he got 8 more sales within 7 days.
That's amazing.
You see what I mean? Because he was in the right frame of mind. He shot himself up with those steroids. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't want to look at it like negative, but I'm telling you, it really does magnify your marketing. It magnifies your content. It magnifies your list building. It magnifies everything that you do in the home-based business industry. So when people tell me, I actually had someone tell me once, they're like, I'm not having success. I'm kind of getting a little overwhelmed with all this mindset stuff. You know, I don't want to be doing this mindset stuff. I just want traffic, and I want leads, and I want sales, I want money. And I'm like, that's how you get it. You focus on the traffic, leads, and sales, but you also do the mindset to magnify and to help those other things really magnify and actually manifest money and manifest what you want in this business. So the reason I like the mindset call, bottom line, is I had a lot of issues reading in the beginning. I'm scatterbrained sometimes, so I'll be reading and I'll start thinking about other things. So I never really get through books. And then I found out about Paul's call. He was actually a top earner in the company that we were in. I'm like, oh, what is he doing? And he does a mindset call. So I'm like, well, he's a top earner, so I'll get on the call. And I started getting on the call, and I found that I don't really have to think about reading. I'm more of an audio person, so it really helped me because he not only reads on the call principles that you should know, but you actually hear it. And we mastermind about it too. That's the key. At the end of the reading or at the end of the content, we mastermind what we learned, and I retain so much more. So just the information I go through every day, I've been retaining Think and Grow Rich. I almost didn't even think, I didn't even know any of these principles even existed. When I first skimmed through Think and Grow Rich and things of that nature, I didn't even know half of the stuff that we're learning now. It was really interesting. So when I saw a shift in myself, income fluctuating all the time, and ever since I started getting on the call, income kept going up. Income kept going up. People come into my lives, masterminds form, things happen. Because I didn't have the BAM mastermind or the mastermind that we have. I didn't have our mastermind until I started getting the right frame of mind.
That's awesome.
And I started getting on your call at the beginning, right after I got back from Iraq, the end of 2011, I started getting on the call, and then our mastermind started forming. Our income started going up because I was focused on mindset. So mindset is a huge thing. It really is a magnifier for everything.
Is the call something you would recommend to someone who's not getting on it right now?
Yes. Anybody in any company, this should be one of your commitments for your team, for yourself, for anyone. And I get on the call myself. We have big income months. Why do I still get on the call? Because I truly believe that the information that's on the call is what everybody needs. And it doesn't cost any money. Honestly, this should cost money, because of the power in it, how many people's lives it's changed. It could literally be a monthly membership.
Yeah.
And it's free. So you can incorporate this call in your team training. I don't care what team you're on, what business you're in, you can make this one of your commitments, your daily commitments that your team goes through, and you're gonna see major shifts in the production, in the mindset of your team, and it's just gonna magnify everything that they do and everything you teach them.
There's also another little lesson here that I wanted to share, since Mike and I are together and thinking about our history and my history and how this has kind of all come together in sort of a crazy, miraculous way, right? Yeah. Back in 2010, when I was literally broke, right? I was jobless, wasn't making any money, wanted to have success. One of the things that I started to do is I started to repeat the self-confidence formula from the book Think and Grow Rich. And one of the lines from the self-confidence formula, it's like the fifth line or says something, I can't remember, let's see, fifth. I fully realize that no wealth or position can long endure unless built upon truth and justice. Therefore, I will engage in no transaction which does not benefit all human effects. I will succeed by attracting to myself the forces I wish to use and the cooperation of other people. And it goes on to say, I will serve them, and in serving them, I will attract them. So here I was making no money, right? Mm-hmm. I started the mindset call. Which is kind of funny, right? He goes was I on there back then? So he wasn't making any money, and that's true. I was making a little bit, but I wasn't making anywhere what I was making now. But the point I wanted to make is I was repeating that, and I was seeing in my mind that if I just did the best I could to serve the people that I was endeavoring to serve, that the forces and the people would be attracted into my life that would allow me to get where I wanted to be, and also fulfill my purpose as I'm supposed to fulfill it in life. And part of my purpose, I believe, is that mindset call. It's just part of what I'm meant to do. It's part of how I'm supposed to help people. And there's somewhat of a limit to the number of people that I can reach by myself, right? And I didn't realize this at the time, but looking back over what's happened, I had the right intention for the call, and what happened was Mike was attracted to the call, and I never called you and says, hey dude, you need to get on the mindset call and this and that. Somehow we were attracted together. Mm-hmm. Mike's a part of this bigger mastermind who's pulled in leaders, big leaders, other leaders, right, that are a part of this mastermind. And so all of this has allowed me to fulfill my purpose on a deeper level, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I just think back to that line in the self-confidence formula that even though you might not know how it's going to happen for you yet, mm-hmm. you have faith that it's going to happen, you take action, and you believe that it's going to happen. And this right here, this friendship, this business alliance is 100% proof that it works.
Yep.
Right? That it works. Yeah. It blows me away. The other thing about that is when you do the best you can to make quality content, people will share your stuff, right? Because
right.
Yeah. So Any other questions you'd like to ask Mike? Before we end.
Oh, really?
Cool. No, you know, this has been a fun interview, man. I really appreciate it, and I've learned a lot from it, and I think that you're still watching this video, so you must be getting a lot out of it, right? Otherwise, you're not listening anymore. So, we just want to encourage you. You know, we want to let you know that your dreams are possible. You can be free. You can fire your boss if that's what you want to do. You can make a living from whatever your passion is. Home business profession is amazing.
Yeah.
It's been good to us as we've been faithful to it, right? Yeah. We've been faithful and persistent. So any closing thoughts you'd want to share?
Well, just make it happen. I mean, you focus on the daily commitments that you need to make in your business, mindset, list building, you know, creating content like this, you know, valuable content for your target market. That'll really help you. That'll propel you in the right direction. The very first step, though, is mindset. So my final thoughts is just get on Paul's call, even just to try it out. You know, I'm sure you're going to have a call below the video and have the number to get in. So just try it out, you know, see how you like it, see how it changes your life. And then, you know, if you feel like it's valuable, then you may want to share it with your downline, share it with your team, share it with your friends. So
yeah. What else? I think that's about it. Oh yeah, we're here to help, right? Yeah. So if Mike or I can ever do anything to assist you, that's what we're here for, right? Exactly. I mean, that's we want nothing more than to help more real people with real lives and real dreams and real hopes have breakthroughs. That's kind of, it's part of what drives us now, isn't it? Yep. Like after having a certain level of financial freedom, you realize you really want to help others get that. So we're here to help. And if you've received a value out of this video, please share your comments down below. That doesn't sound too baggy, does it?
No.
Okay. Share your comments down below because we'd like to interact and, you know, kind of see what you got out of the video. And also share this video. If you got some value, feel free to share it on Facebook. Send it out to anyone who you might think would benefit. And whatever you do, my friend, you want to do it with me?
Yeah.
Whatever you do, never give up on your dreams. Thanks. Mike Hobbs, Paul Hutchings signing out. Make it a great day.